Are you looking to apply to PA school this cycle? Then this is the email you want to hear. It is with great pleasure that I write your letter of recommendation for you as you apply to PA school this cycle. Sincerely, Practicing PA. If your goal is to make sure that you get a letter of recommendation from a practicing PA, then watch this video. The cycle is coming up and you know that you need at least 3 letters of recommendation. Most PA programs require that one of those letters be from a practicing physician assistant. Now, how are you going to go about getting this letter from a PA? So many people have difficulty just finding and connecting with a PA in general. How are you going to have this opportunity to get the PA to write you a letter of recommendation? My name is Anthony Gauthier for Your Journey to PA School, and if you're applying to PA school, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel as I give new videos each week providing insight on how you can become a top applicant. My top 3 people I recommend you get a letter of recommendation from are employer, because they can vouch for your work ethic and how you work as a team, a professor, because they could write on behalf of your skills in the classroom and if you're ready and prepared to handle the rigors of PA school, especially didactic year, because it gets crazy. Third, you want to get that PA to write you a letter of recommendation. Now, some people suggest getting a practicing PA, retired PA, someone in the PA profession, because no one knows the profession better than a PA themselves. And if a PA can vouch for you on applying to PA school, then you know you got a step ahead of the rest of the pack. So how are you going to get in contact with these PAs? Step number 1, make sure you work on your networking skills. No matter what, ask family, ask friends, join pre-PA clubs, network with social media and PA groups. You need to try and connect with them. No PA is going to write you a letter of recommendation without knowing you. And if they say so, you probably don't want it for them because they're probably going to charge you some money. I know it's crazy, but there are people out there. The second thing you need to do is once you've connected and made that connection through your networking, is you need to build a rapport and a lasting relationship with that person. Now, CASPA is going through, and when you send your letter of rec, they're going to ask that PA certain questions. And one of those questions are, how long have you known this applicant? PA schools are going to look at that and they're going to take it into consideration. So if they've known you for less than 1 year and receive a letter of recommendation, it might not be as valuable as someone that's known a PA for 5+ years very well, and they write them a stellar letter of recommendation. So keep those things in mind. It's not just find a random PA, have them write you a letter of recommendation just so you cover that aspect of the application. It's not going to help you out. In terms of once you connect with that PA, try to ask for shadowing opportunities. Try to ask them if they'll answer any questions you have via email, or maybe they'll meet up with you for a cup of coffee. One insider tip I'd recommend is you can ask that PA if you can interview them either for a class project or maybe a social media blog post, something so you can learn about how they became a PA. 1, it gives you insight on how they became a PA. 2, it builds a greater connection and rapport with that person. And this is all going to help you when it becomes time for you to ask for that letter of recommendation. The third thing I highly recommend is after you've networked, you connected with that PA, hopefully you've had some shadowing opportunities or interaction so they feel they've got to know you. You need to maintain that rapport and build off of it. So how do you go about doing that? Most PAs will only let you shadow once or twice, and then after that you never hear from them again. So the thing you need to do is follow up with emails or messages so they are reminded of who you are and are up to date on what you're doing as you apply to PA school. So you shadow a PA, and after you've sent in your initial thank you letter, thanking them for allowing you to shadow, after that, every few weeks, drop them an email, or if you have their cell number, drop them a text, a message in their DM, just something saying, hey, I'm working on X, Y, and Z as I continue to work towards my goal of becoming a PA. It's something small and keeps you in the back of their mind, so later on down the road, when you do ask them for a letter of recommendation, They aren't totally oblivious trying to think of who you are. Now, step 4, the ask. When is the best time to ask a PA for a letter of recommendation? One pitfall, I do not recommend asking a PA for a letter of recommendation at the end of the day of your first encounter shadowing opportunity. It's a big pet peeve of mine. It's something I don't think is professional. Other PAs might be totally fine with it, but if it was your very first encounter, I would not recommend asking for a letter of rec after that initial encounter unless they were very receptive to it and you felt that it was something that you could ask because you kind of had a really good connection and rapport and they offered like anything else in the future, I'll be happy to help you out. That's when you could keep it in mind. But for the time being, you want to ask leading up to the CASPA application opening up for the cycle that you're applying to. Some people ask for a letter of recommendation and don't plan on applying in 1 to 2 years. That's not really going to help you out. It's better to keep in touch with that person all the way up to the cycle you're applying to and have them write the letter than having them write it 2 years ago, you saving it on your hard drive, and then asking them to upload it. It just doesn't work out that well. So, when you ask, I recommend asking in person if possible, if not a formal email with attachments of a cover letter as well as your resume. So you have your email asking them to write you a letter of recommendation, and it'd be really nice if you mention how you connected with them, how they motivated you to work harder towards your goal of becoming a PA in the body of your email, and then also have attached a resume and a cover letter. One of the hardest things for PAs like myself to write letters for people is I only know a small portion of their journey to PA school, and having the cover letter and the letter of recommendation really opens my eyes to who they are as a person and all the other things they've done outside of what I am knowledgeable of as they pursue PA, and it really helps me to write them a better letter. Now, another pitfall I want you to look out for is when you ask and they agree, but they say you write it and I'll sign off on it. Recommend that you stay away from that. If the person says you write it, I'll sign off on it, you're better off trying to find another PA to write you that letter of recommendation. I'm sure it's going to be depressing. You're going to be heartbroken finally having a PA say they'll write one for you, only to find out they want you to write it and they'll sign off on it. Probably not the best idea. If they're not willing to take the time out, 20 minutes, half hour or so to write you a letter of recommendation, then you don't want that person recommending you for PA school. Just kind of keep that in mind. Have you asked a PA to write you a letter of recommendation? If you have, make sure you comment below. I want to know how it went. Did they say yes? Did they say no? Did they give a reason? Make sure you comment below because I look forward to seeing what you write. To recap, getting a letter of recommendation from a PA is paramount. It's so important, and most programs require that you have at least one letter of rec from a PA. So make sure you network, you connect with them somehow, like shadowing, interview them through email, through grabbing coffee, some way to get that better, stronger connection so they feel they get to know you more than just another aspiring PA coming through the door. Step 3, maintaining the contact. So periodically, every few months, make sure you drop them an email, a DM, a text message, just something updating them of your journey to PA school and how you look forward to having them involved on your journey to becoming a PA. Step 4, the ask. I know it's the hardest part. You're going to be super nervous, but just understand that if a PA says no, it's usually not because they have anything negative against you as a person. There's a lot of factors. Maybe they just don't feel they know you well enough. Maybe they don't have the time to produce a letter that they really want to produce for you. There's a lot of things to think about. So don't get discouraged when you get that no, but once you get that yes, make sure you really thank them for their time and provide them vital information that helps them write their letter of recommendation. So cover letter, resume, any other outside information you think can help them write a better letter for you. Timeline for writing your letter of recommendation, I would say give the person at least 6 weeks. Create a soft deadline. So that deadline is the time that you want them to complete it by, but it's not actually the full cement deadline for you applying to your PA program. This gives you a buffer and a cushion in case they get behind or they don't get it in time. What about thanking that PA for writing you a letter? So there's no monetary gifts that are required for thanking a person for writing you a letter recommendation. Every single person should be writing it out of the goodness of their heart, out of wanting to help you achieve your goals and your dreams and to help strengthen the PA profession. So you should not go with anyone that's looking for monetary return for writing you a letter recommendation. Typically, a handwritten thank you note is best. Some people incorporate gift cards to places like coffee or smoothies or something that they know that person likes that wrote them the letter, but there's no need to provide any monetary thank you gifts, just a handwritten letter, and keeping them up to date, letting them know if you were accepted to PA school. That's actually the biggest thank you gift of all, is knowing that the person I wrote a letter of recommendation for was accepted into PA school. Knowing that I helped that person achieve their dreams is one of the greatest feelings that I can ever get. I'm Anthony Gauthier for Your Journey to PA School. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel, as each week I'll provide updated videos on how you can become a better applicant to applying to PA school. And remember, I want to know, have you asked a PA for a letter recommendation? Comment below. I want to hear your story. If you asked, how did you ask? Did they say yes? Did they say no? Did they ask you to write the letter and they'll sign off on it? I want to hear in the comments below. Keep working hard, and I can't wait till the day to call you a fellow PA.